The Zealot S7 is the larger speaker. The DNIGHT is a smaller speaker. Are these two speakers replacements of the JBL? Let's get into this review and you decide for yourself. Okay, let's start off with the DNIGHT. Okay, so you get a rubberized texture on top. It has a soft kind of texture to it. Same thing on the bottom. You are presented with the plus and minus volume button. You have a play pause button. You have the skip buttons, and you have a phone answering button. The grill is typical of most all speakers. They have this metal grill. It does have some type of design work to it, which looks really good. You do have two speakers on here that sound amazing. We'll talk about the speakers in a little bit. On the back side, you have a passive radiator in the same form, the same kind of design to it. And then on the side, you have an auxiliary port, you have the charging port, and then you have on and off switch. You do, with this speaker, get this bass pad, which is made out of like a neoprene. It's stretchy. It's nice because this thing does produce a lot of bass. And then you get a micro USB charger, just like you get with all your other phones. So but let's talk about the sound quality on this one. It's amazing. Really deep bass, really clean sound, no distortion at all. When hooking it up to your computer, it sounds amazing. Like, this is what I use for my computer audio, and I just Bluetooth it over, and it sounds amazing for the size. It's on par with the JBL, if not better. But as far as bass, this thing has tremendous bass. Like, it's unreal. For this little speaker, it should not have that much bass, but it does, and it sounds great. This is my favorite speaker that I've owned as far as portability speakers. It's tiny. It is not waterproof. That's the only downside. Not a deal breaker. But if you're looking for a good, crisp sounding speaker that has a lot of bass, that's your speaker you want to go with. For, I believe it was $29, around there. That's how much I picked this up for. Great speaker. We'll do some audio tests in a little bit after I review the Zealot S7. This speaker is the charge crusher. You know, JBL, you gotta look over your speaker, man, because this speaker sounds amazing, and it's at a price point where it's a third the cost of the charge, which totally is unreal. So you have a nice mesh grill made out of steel, and you have two speakers on each side. You have an illuminated bar that goes all the way around. You have pressure sensitive buttons, kind of similar to how the iPods were back in the day as far as the volume is concerned. So you just rotate your finger around it and it increases in volume. On the bottom you have a rubber pad, nice rubber pad. It's really soft. You have auxiliary port, you have a charging bank. This is a 10,000 milliamp battery, so it will charge a lot of devices. You have a micro USB port, so if you don't want to hook it up to your phone and use Bluetooth, download music onto your USB device, a micro USB device, and plug it in. You have a charging port, and then you have an on and off switch. So out of the way this speaker looks, it's really beautiful. It is not waterproof, that's the only downside, but it is on par with the Charge and a lot cleaner audio. It is a nice speaker. So let's turn both of these on and get into the review on the audio portion of it. We'll start off with the Zealot this time. So the Zealot, I just turn it on. You greet it with the beat.
Bluetooth mode.
You greet it with what she's willing to lock onto, which is your Bluetooth. So you don't have to push any buttons. You could lock onto Bluetooth right away. If you don't want to lock onto the Bluetooth right away and you want to use your micro USB, as you can see, I clicked it, it popped out, it's spring loaded. So I'm using a SanDisk micro USB, nothing fancy. Put it in, and
Music.
then you
Bluetooth mode.
push it
Music
so
mode.
it clicks. You kind of got to use the tip of your fingers. I have big fingers, so it's kind of hard for me to push it in really fast, but it's not a deal breaker. But it does click. Once it clicks, it makes a locking noise. And let's turn it around. As you would change the songs or the soundtracks, it does not make any noise. It just changes them, which is nice because sometimes you don't want to hear that annoying clicking noise from the buttons, that cheap audible sound. It just happens. When adjusting the volume, you do, however, want to hear the sound of your volume increase, so that way you know if you're, increasing the volume or decreasing the volume. So let me show you how that sounds. So as you go low, it doesn't make any sounds. Increase the volume to maximum, it will make like a squealing noise. Let me show you what that sounds like real quick. So as you could tell, it did make a high squeaking noise, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's really loud when you turn the volume all the way up. But nonetheless, it is a beautiful speaker. You are greeted by these LED lights, so you know how charged you are. And this thing runs for about 10 to 15 hours. So you don't have to worry about the battery dying. But let me give you some more of that audio at lower volumes, so that way you can hear the quality behind it. So as you can see on a lot lower sounding audio, you can hear the high frequency clicking sound at high volume. And then I just push pause, or actually it's the play button to pause it. Push that and stop the volume, or stop the track actually. But this speaker is amazing, for under 50 bucks, can't go wrong. Buy one, try it out, and if you like the speaker, keep it. If you don't, send it back. But I'm gonna tell you, this speaker I prefer over the JBL anytime. The JBL Charge sounded muffled, not as loud as far as clarity is concerned. Once you turned it up too loud, you start hearing the mids play, and it did not sound good. It sounded like it was really muffled as the volume increased. So I would say the win goes to the Zealot S7. That's why I kept it. This speaker's good for your living room, your bedroom, anywhere in the house. It produces an amazing sound. Test it out if you don't believe me. One complaint that I do have with this gloss finish, it's kind of like you could see the fingerprints already. So that may be a deal breaker to you if you don't care about it. Just the finish of it's amazing. It's really nice. And not only that, what wins me over here is having this micro USB. It's just an amazing feature that all speakers should have, because not everybody wants to always hook up their Bluetooth to their device. You could just plug and play, and then having it as a charging bank is a bonus. So if you're playing with your phone, playing the music, and your phone's starting to die, hook it up, charge it up, and not worry about it. And then to have a auxiliary cord with the device and a port, that's a good feature to have. And as you can see, this cord's pretty long, so they didn't skimp out on what they give you. And then you get the user manual, and you get the micro USB cord, so it comes with everything you need to know about the speaker and with the speaker to utilize all these functions, except the micro USB. You got to buy it on your own or use one from your cell phone. Everybody has those laying around with their Android devices. But let's go to the DNIGHT and see the sound quality of that and see if it's better than the Flip 4. So the DNIGHT, it's an amazing speaker. What more can I say? For the size and the quality of audio, this is like the speaker that I choose to use the most. So click on the audio portion of it, and then it's going to ask us to basically pair it if we want to use it and hook it up to our device. You are greeted, with the nice form and everything. It's really compact and tiny. You do see the little light blinking because it does want you to hook it up to a device. It does not have a micro USB, so you got to basically hook it up to your cell phone or something via Bluetooth. But nonetheless, it is a good speaker. It is typical on all Bluetooth speakers to do that, so it's not a deal breaker. As you can see, it made a beep when I connected, and then we are gonna play some music. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? So that's caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. So as you can see, when it's all the way up, it does make a beeping noise. The power button does stay blue. My volume on my phone is all the way up. If you do connect it to the auxiliary port, you will always get a lot better sound and a lot higher quality of volume because it's a direct source. So we're going to increase the volume all the way to the maximum. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, carry on. So, as you could tell, it's an amazing speaker. When I was holding it, I could feel it, the bass just thumping in this thing. This one is my favorite, like by far. I like this speaker. It's small, it has just a deep, rich bass. I can't stress it enough of how good this speaker sounds, especially for $29. Where you can find a speaker that sounds that good? If you're looking for volume, as far as how loud it could go, this is not going to be your speaker unless you hook it up directly to like your computer or something, because your computer outputs a lot more power. Let's just do a quick comparison between these two speakers, just the same how I did the JBL, the Flip 4, and the Charge 3. So you get a general idea of the mass that this one's producing over that one, how much audio just gets amplified out of the larger speaker compared to the smaller speaker. It's an unfair advantage to have the larger speaker comparing it to the smaller speaker, only because it's like this one has 4 speakers, this one has 2, this one has a lot bigger battery, so it's putting more output out. But you know, just to hear just the quality and sound. So we'll play both of these at 50% and see what they sound like, and then full volume. Even though I don't think you'll really get a good quality sound out of full volume with the microphone I have, but I'll give it to you anyway so you could kind of hear the difference. So let's play this little clip real quick.
I was a little too tall, could've used a few pounds. Tight pants, points, hollering out. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes, and points all her own, sitting way up high. Way up firm and high.
So that one sounded pretty good at half volume. Let's do the smaller DNIGHT now.
I was a little too tall, could've used a few pounds. Tight pants, points, hollering out. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes, and points all her own, sitting way up high.
So that was at half volume. Now let's increase the volume to full, and then we'll play it. So let's play this one.
In the back seat of my '60 Chevy, working on mysteries without any clues, working on our night moves, trying to make some front page driving news.
So as you could tell, this one, when turning up the volume, it has to be playing, so it allows you to turn it up. And it kind of interferes with the actual track playing, only because it's trying to increase the volume and play the beeping noise while it plays the song. So it was not skipping, it was just trying to override that. And then we'll play the other one at full volume.
A '60 Chevy, working on mysteries without any clues, working on our night moves, trying to make some front page driving news, working on our night moves.
So as you can see, I paused it here and that shut it down. Both speakers sound amazing. The audio track that I chose, it does not justify how good the audio is between both of these speakers, only because everybody's going to have their different genres, so that will play a major difference in which speaker is better for you, and not only that, which speaker you prefer to play your genre of music, and then the size and all that plays a factor. So if you're looking into buying these speakers over the JBL because of the price point and the sound quality, I would say definitely go ahead. That's why I kept these two, because I like them both. I sent back the JBLs because I felt like they were too expensive for what they were. Why spend 3 times the amount for something that sounds less quality, and just, to me, it didn't sound as good. And the Flip 4 sounded amazing, it was great, but having that waterproof feature was unnecessary to me, especially for $100 when I could get this one for around 30. It didn't make sense. Take this review and, you know, make your decision on what speaker you're going to choose, whether it's JBL or whether it's one of these two. All the speakers are amazing, but save yourself some money and, you know, test out these two speakers. And if you don't like them, you could always send them back. It's not a big deal, you know. Amazon has a good return policy, so take that for what it's worth. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If it was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more reviews like this and saving money, just subscribe. Thanks for watching.